Hey folks, we're back. Here's Rich's turn. Okay. Cavalry in the middle. That's interesting. So we're on turn 4. So by the end of this turn, we're going to be a quarter of the way through the battle. We need to try to take this objective. Now, in the before I played the last turn, I think I said to you guys that I had not played the game at all. Well, I actually went and played this scenario through against the computer. I played it a couple of times and kind of restarted after about 4 or 5 turns when I realised I'd made a mistake. And then I actually completed the game. Oh, I won the match. And I ended up with a minor victory with about 215 points. And that was because it was a really bloody battle, and I did actually manage to envelop the enemy and defeated him in that way. And I managed to get some cavalry around the back and took the objective. Now, Richard's not going to be that easy to defeat, so I've got to try and figure out a way of doing this. One of the mistakes I realised that I'd made, by the way, was that the AI did try to make a move this way. And really what you want to be doing is setting up, in my opinion anyway, and this is just, you know, going off playing against the AI, and the AI isn't, you know, another human. But I found that if you've got your knights in position to make a charge move, that is a really, really powerful thing, right? So if you, for example, like I had really good success fighting around this area here. I had my archers and that, like, kind of like sat in this rough ground. Now the elevation is a little high, but this rough ground is enough to stop crossbows. Okay, so crossbows can't actually fire across this. So that's one thing I learned. But basically, getting your troops into the buildings is going to be really, really important. Thing is, Richard's going to get there before me, by the looks of it. So I do think that we want to try to threaten getting around his flank still. I think that's going to be my idea. If he then tries to move forwards to move for the objective, then we're going to close in and try and defeat him on the flanks. I don't care about the objective that much, that I'm going to lose the game trying to hold it. We can always pick it back up later. And I think that if we do make a serious attack on one of his flanks, he's going to respond to that, right? Because otherwise he's going to lose. Especially if, you know, we've got advantageous terrain as well. So let's see how we're going to do this. I don't think we can take this before he's going to get it. So I think what we want to do is we do actually want to set my my forces up now in a way that kind of tries to lure him onto the objective. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. But we've got to make the objective at least look kind of like, you know, like it's going to be held on to. So let's just stick some archers on top of that hill there, and we'll stick those guys into column formation, and then we're going to grab some spearmen. Now, these are part of this organisation, I think. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we really do need to keep these guys relatively close to the rest of our force. Now, normally I would keep them all together. I do think that it's wise to at least put up some kind of show. Let's just turn these this way. Okay. So these are very, very strong. These heavy cavalry, and I when playing against the AI, had really good success charging these into the Islamic cavalry. These didn't do quite so well, and they lost their leaders quite easily when I did that. Okay, so that's one thing you can do. I'm going to just move these guys up this way. Now, if I remember right, we've got they've got 16 movement points. They're going to take 3 movement points each turn going through clear. So if they charge, they can go like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Sorry, 15, and then they can make a melee. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can effectively strike you if you're 6 hexes away. 5, 6. So for example, these guys could actually charge and hit these guys here on this turn, and we could actually make the same against them. What I want to do is I just wanted to see what he actually had in the back lines here, but I do want to try to get around him, I think. Yeah, so let's move these. I want my spearmen at the front, if possible. Although we might find that we're not able to do that, in which case I think we're just going to get... Yeah, I want these knights in a position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they can actually charge us here. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, that's right. So they could hit you 6 hexes away. In that case, let's move these crossbow up. I'm actually gonna open their formation up here into line formation, because that means we'll actually get ourselves a crossbow attack, which will do a little bit of damage as they come in. These guys have moved. Do I want these on the hill? No, I think I'm gonna go straight across the hill here. Okay. If I can get round and attack their supplies, that would be great. But I wouldn't do that. I probably would not do that with knights. One of the things I noticed about this scenario, by the way, is that everybody's is quality A. Okay, everybody is quality A. What that means is that there's not going to be so many routes. I think you get a plus 10 or plus 20% modifier to morale checks when you're an A class. Yeah, I think it's plus 10 for B and plus 20 for A, if I remember right. Which means it's going to be really difficult to actually route anybody. And I did find this when I was playing against the computer. Not really difficult, but you know, these are all elite troops essentially. Now, what can we see from here? Okay, these guys can be seen. These won't be spotted, I don't think. Okay. Now it's these guys that I want to do something with. He's got his swordsman on the flanks, which is interesting. And he's actually got his spearman and his crossbowman in a line together. Now I thought that would disorder them, but maybe not. So maybe that's something you can do. I didn't realise you could do that. I know certainly that if you move a column formation through a line formation, you will disorder the. I think you'll disorder both, because they're just kind of like, you know, having to mess around, being disorganized, and that's a really bad thing in this game, because when you are disordered, you can't fight very well. You have real big penalties on pretty much everything. Okay. He's still within range. Yeah, so one of the things about the way that the command range works in this is you can't really, you know, have these two armies going off and fighting effectively on their own. There's a certain limit, there's a range limit. Okay, so the way that it works is Count Raymond here will pass down his morale bonus, his command check, down to Baldwin of Ghent, because he's the Crusader army commander. Then he's going to pass it down to the Battle Wing commander. The Battle Wing commander is then going to pass his bonus down, providing he passes his check, to each of the Battle Wing battalion commanders. Okay, so those guys need to be within range of Baldwin of Ghent here. So this is Bertrand of Bass and Farald of Thuraz. Okay, let's just see who's not moved yet. Yeah, pretty much this whole flank. Now, this is the only place, this hex here is where we can get, this is the only place that horses can get through without being disordered, unless they go right round here, okay? So, I would like to threaten that on him, but the problem is, Richards can punish me for that, I think. I don't think he's that stupid that he will fall for that kind of trick. But I do want to have these set up here on this side, because as the battle line comes in, he's got to basically pick, like, am I just going to come, if he comes straight in with this line as he is, his line is going to be here, look, right? And yeah, then my force, I'm going to be able to sort of attack him on the flanks, I think. can't remember exactly what their movement is. Let me just double check on the parameter data. So movement, their movement is 10. Okay, where are we? Line infantry movement cost. There we are. So in clear it's 3. So they can basically move 3 hexes. And I think you need 50%, is it, to change? Yeah, so you need at least 5. So you can move 1 hex and then you can switch to your other formation, your line formation. Now, there is a rule in the tiller system which means that if it's switched on, when you move in line formation, you have to take a morale check. Now that is turned off in this, so there's no penalty basically, just marching around as you like in line formation. I think it's assumed that all these guys are very, very well trained. Of course, if you've got quality A troops, they're going to be able to march around in line formation fairly easily. It's the lower quality troops that tend to get broken up when they're trying to march like that. Apparently it's very, very difficult to march in line formation. This is why people do move into column. Okay, let's get these guys. Yeah, they've got no fatigue at the moment. I think this is going to be the location. 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah. Oh no, it'll be 3, 6, 9, 14, 18. Yeah, so we couldn't charge from here if we wanted to charge into this line. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to, but I want to be able to threaten that. If Richard's being careful and he's checking the parameter data, he'll know that that's not within range. The other thing is though, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I'm actually going to turn these guys. I'm actually going to move them down here now. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, you can charge us here. That's very interesting. I'm going to stick these guys. I think I'm going to put these guys into their line formation now. No, he can't do it. He's facing this way. Richard can't charge like that. He can only charge straight forwards. Okay, what we want to do here then is we want to get these guys. Now he might run his troops. He can't. He won't be able to melee us. 2, 3. Yeah, he'll be able to run up and pepper us with some crossbows. I'm not too worried about that. If he's got to move. And also, if he moves into here in line formation, which he's in, he's going to get disordered, right? So he'd have to basically. What has he got? He hasn't got any archers there. He's got crossbows. These can't fire across here, so I'm safe. There's no archers here. I think he must have archers behind these behind this group. Okay. Yeah, I've got an archer group here. I think we're also going to put these into our line formation now and start moving them up. So we'll make a look again, we're looking as if we're kind of trying to make a play here. I don't want to engage him here, okay? So if Richard comes into this area and he wants to make a play to engage me, you might find he actually moves his force down here now. Like, you know, he can see that he can defend with just a couple of units here against a larger force, and he might just make a beeline down here. So that means we don't need to necessarily move all our troops up this way. Yeah, that's too far. Man, I love this game so much. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, he can't. 6. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 2, 3, 6. So I can go here safely. I'm going to be threatening a charge on this side. Yeah, we've exceeded our movement allowance. It must be 66%. Let's turn... I think we're going to turn these guys clockwise and keep moving forwards. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he can actually shoot at me here. He can charge at me here. Oh, I really don't want to do that, do I? That's dumb. Then again, I don't know. I don't know if that would make much sense for him to do that. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, his archers in column. They are actually. Ah, damn it. Yeah. No, I realised I made a mistake here because these guys are now. He can actually charge them now. Whether he will or not is someone else. Like most of these troops, look, they would be able to turn around and pepper them with arrows. But then I've got nothing actually that can defend against this now. I wouldn't be able to. Oh yes, I would. I'd be able to countercharge with these lancers. I'd also be able to quickly put these any of these two units into column formation and march them forwards. Although spearmen will not be able to chase down mounted troops. Oh, it's going to be interesting because I wonder if he will actually try to do that. Like, that's the sort of thing that I would do and then just retreat back. So yeah, he might do that. He might just try to get some cheap kills. It's a little bit risky. You'd have to bring his leader, I think, in order to make that particularly effective. And then he's kind of risking his leader. So yeah, let's see what he does there. Let's just make sure we are in within our command range. Yes, we are. Yeah, I think we moved everyone otherwise, haven't we? So that's going to be it. Oh no. Actually charge those there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now the reason why I've done this is partly because I wanted to move this unit out of the way anyway, but also we've now got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If he charges into this, does a melee, he's going to knock them back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still within a position where I can then potentially charge in and cut him off. So that should dissuade him from doing that. I think we also need to move these guys to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we. Yeah, we'll put this cavalry on this flank here. 2, 3. Yeah, so we could if he charges in here and attacks us, which is possible. 5, 6. No, he can't do it with that unit. He'd be basically charging in with one. He'd get a melee on the back line of those guys. I think we might be better off even moving these up here. Now these are armoured knights. I think he's got the same stuff as me pretty much. So I reckon they must be armour 5 as well. They look like it. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it for the turn. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.